for, yes, good, not too much of a lag at all. So just going back to my first slide, just don't worry about that's what you can currently see. That's I'm just saying that we're not going to do that one. So here's our first slide. So as I've said already, welcome to Harriet. You're very welcome to join our set. You know, we're a good set 3. I push everybody hard here. We're going to be covering all the same work as we would do in set 1 and set 2. So I've got high expectations. We've got some really bright cookies in this set, and there are going to be plenty of people who'll be aiming to get 7s or higher in their actual GCSE. So we cover the same material as sets 1 and 2, and when we have tests in normal circumstances back in school, we'll do the same tests as sets 1 and 2. So that can be a bit tricky, but I think you all appreciate the fact that you're being pushed as hard as everybody else. So what you can see on this slide is an extract from Teams. So if you take that top one, you can see that I've scheduled today's meeting, 14.2 averages, range and IQR, and you'll see below that I've attached the Word document. And I'll try and stay ahead of the game. Can you see below that where it says 14.3 box plot and what have you? That's going to be our next lesson on Monday. So what would be really good is if you could go and just download that worksheet where I'm just putting an arrow against it at the moment. You can go and download that worksheet in advance of Monday's lesson. Then once the teaching bit's out of the way, you'll be ready to do the questions without worrying about printing during the lesson. So maybe some of you have gone and downloaded what I'm just about to put a circle around already. Okay, that's going to be the worksheet for today's lesson. So if you've downloaded that already, very well done. If you haven't done, you might want to do that after I've finished the teaching bit. But as I said a bit earlier, you don't have to download the worksheet. All of these questions are on the Dr. Frost website. So I don't know, Harriet, how familiar you are with Dr. Frost, but the rest of you, we've been doing it every single week. So you're very familiar with how we're going to be doing this. So Harriet, if you need any help with your Dr. Frost when we get onto that bit, just speak out and I'll give you a hand. So that's really all I need to do introducing the lesson. Hopefully, as I said to you lots last term, I was really bearing very much in mind this worst case scenario that we go into lockdown again. So I was doing all of last term's lessons as if it was lockdown. So hopefully the way the lessons flow will be fairly familiar with you. Excuse me. So just moving on to the next slide. Just wait for it to go through because there's a slight lag. So you will be needing to, yes, there we go. So this is today's lesson. So if you've got your orange books, I want you to be copying out that title and the date. If you haven't got your orange books, then I suggest you just get some paper, get a folder, and just start filing all of this away. Harriet, this 14.2 business, this is just my filing system. So as we move on to a new topic, we go on to the next number. So 12 and 13 and 14. And then the point bit is all the various lessons on that particular topic. So if you look at that bit at the top, which I'm just putting a circle around now, yeah, there, that bit I've put the circle around, that's me working through the scheme of work. And we did that 14.1, that cumulative frequency graphs last term. Harriet, don't worry if you haven't done that, we'll come back to it again. And we're now just moving on to that second one down, the lower quartile, upper quartile, and interquartile range. So what I want you guys to do, please, I want you to copy out this information. Okay, so you can do a football team of your choice. Okay, so Forest Green Rovers scored the following number of goals this season. So copy out those numbers. Now, the first 4 of these we've done before. Okay, we've done mean, median, mode, and range before. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to give you a few minutes to see if you can remember how to work out the mean, median, mode, and range. Don't worry about the interquartile range. I'll go through that with you again. We touched upon it when we did that cumulative frequency graphs, but I want to remind you about that. So can you go and try and work out the mean, median, mode, and range from those numbers? Just to remind you, the mean is the one you get when you add them together and divide by the number of numbers. The median is the middle one once they're in order. And they're in order already. The mode is the number that crops up most frequently, and the range is the biggest number of goals, take away the smallest number of goals. So I'm just going to have a quick cup of tea and have a bit more of my bacon and mushroom sandwich while I give you guys about a minute or two just to try and work through and work out the mean, median, mode and range, please. So I'll give you about another minute. I know that's not long, but for those of you who can't remember how to do it, I don't want you just to be wasting too much time. I want you to be getting on to doing the worksheet. I'll give you about another 30 seconds. So remember, the mean is what you get when you add them all up and divide by the number of numbers. The median is the middle one. The mode is which number crops up most often. And the range is the biggest, take away the smallest. Now the first three are the three different types of average, and range is a measure of spread. It's a measure of how much they're spread out. Okay, so I know I didn't give you long, but here are the answers. And as I said to you before, this is being recorded. So if you find that I'm going through too quickly, just wait for the recording to upload and you can just play it back at your leisure. The recording is automatically stored on Teams, but it's now only for 20 days. So it may be that some of you want to watch this recording after 20 days. So I will make sure that all of the lessons the recordings are also uploaded onto my YouTube account, Maths by Mr. Withers, okay? So you'll find, again, this is probably more for Harriet's benefit, the rest of you probably know this. If you go onto that website, then the first things you get to are the remote learning section, and obviously you just go and look in the third form bits. So, to work out the mean, I've added them all up together. When I added all those numbers up together, I got 36. I then divided that by 15 to give me, and 15 was because there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, there are 15 numbers there. I just thought for a minute I didn't know all the word, but there are 15 numbers there. So when I added up those 15 numbers, I got 36. 36 divided by the number of numbers, which is 15, I got the 2.4 goals per game. And it's absolutely fine if it's a decimal. Then for the median, well, I started off by putting them in order. Well, they're already in order. And then I just worked my way in, and I found that the middle number was a 2. So the median is 2 goals. Now the mode is the one that happens most often. Okay, so you can see that the 1's cropped up 4 times, and then the range is the biggest number of goals, take away the smallest number of goals. Well, the biggest number of goals is 6, smallest number of goals is 0. 6 take away 0 is obviously 6 goals. So hopefully those are all familiar to you. Now, the number 5 there was the interquartile range. So I'm just going to talk you through this one. Now, what we're trying to say here, interquartile, quartile means quarters. So we want to break the data up into 4 quarters and then get rid of all the lowest quarter, get rid of the highest quarter, and then take the range of what is left. So what I mean by that is start off by finding the middle number, the median. Okay, so the middle number here is the 2 that I'm just about to point out. Okay, the middle number is the 2. Okay, now what I've then gone and done, you then go and look at the numbers before the 2, which I'm just about, yeah, those numbers there. Okay, and you go and find the middle of those numbers, and you'll see the middle number there of those numbers is that 1. So what I then do is discard all the numbers that are less than that. So it's like your worst results. So we go and get rid of the numbers to the left of that 1 that I'm just about to cross out. There's a bit of a lag, so I'm just waiting for them to cross out. Okay, they've crossed out now. Right, I then go over from my median and look at the numbers to the right of the median, which I'm just about to underline. So that's that 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 5, and 6, which I've just underlined. And you look at all of those and you go and hook out the middle number of those numbers, and that is that 4. And what you then go and do is get rid of those 3 very good scores. So you get rid of the 5, 5, and the 6, which I'm just about to cross out. Just waiting for the lag for it to actually come through that they've been crossed out. Yes, it's about a 3 or 4 second lag now. Never mind, not the end of the world. Now, what I'm left with then, my biggest number that I'm left with is now that 4, and the smallest number I'm left with is now that 1. So having got rid of the weakest numbers and the biggest numbers, you then work out the range of what is left. So my biggest number is 4, and 4 take away 1 equals 3. Okay, so my answer there is 3. Now that's it on the teaching. Okay, so I'm now just about to stop the recording. Bear with me.